Flash floods have ravaged the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast since Sunday afternoon. So we asked the question, to what extent will these downpours affect tourism, and how are those numbers expected to be further affected, if you like, by the closure of beaches? Let's bring in our guest, the KZN Deputy Chair of Federated Hospitality Association of Southern Africa, is Mandy Massey, who joins us now via our video link. Mandy, thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. You know, we had so many conversations about how it seemed Durban more specifically, but KZN on the whole was on the rebound after, the devastation caused by weak sewage infrastructure. But now we have the added issue of these downpours damaging several areas. To what extent are you, I suppose, anticipating that will eat away at whatever gains were being made?
Hi, yes, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to be able to discuss the South Coast. So on Sunday afternoon from 4:30 onward, we had approximately, in a very short space of a few hours, between 100 and 160 mils of rain. And because of the extent of that rain in such a short space, it explains why the water systems were overwhelmed and were, flooding and overflowing occurred so quickly. However, from FedHouse's point of view, we really would like to bring it to the attention of the public that we are very concerned that outdated and misleading images of footage from the 2024 floods have been circulating, which has escalated these floods to be far greater than in actual fact what they have been. And just to let the public know and people that are visiting the South Coast, what defines the South Coast is not disruption, it's the resilience and the spirit of our people on the South Coast. On Sunday evening, we had community members, we had our own Konyeni municipality, our disaster management, our Ugu Water, community members, all sorts of forums gathered together, and every single person on the South Coast got stuck in and they put their hands together and they started cleaning. And it is with the greatest of pleasure to let you know that, in fact, other than for one beach, which is still closed, and it is only closed because we are still trying to pick up the debris. Obviously, in Margate, the beach is right at the bottom. It's the lowest lying point in Margate, so it's perfectly natural that your debris from any washaway would collect on there. But other than that, St. Michael's Beach, Uvongo Beach, Margate is still closed, but all of our beaches are open, and I have video footage this morning at 5:30 of holidaymakers, and in fact even our holidaymakers got involved and helped us. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity because it's fabulous. There's no disruption, business as usual. We continue to offer a vibrant and a safe holiday experience for our holidaymakers. What I would suggest is, if there are anybody that is at any way concerned, please contact your establishment, your local establishments, or your tour operators directly and speak to them. And
yeah. All right, let me ask this question, Mandy. It's good to hear, of course, that there's a fair amount of resilience in the community. I think most, if not all, people want KZN to do well. What we are seeing, though, is that this is becoming a whole lot more commonplace, these floods and these heavy rains, than perhaps exceptions. And I wonder how that's informing how you prepare for this time of the year.
So, certainly. So last year in December, in mid-April 2024, we had really very bad floodings as well. And from that, our municipality, they've just been phenomenal, and our water board, that ensuring that our storm water drain systems were updated and were adequate, so that in the event of further flash floodings, that it wasn't as catastrophic as what it had been in the previous years. So very well equipped. We have systems in place, and it's our fourth flood since 2022. So you'll see the video that you're showing now was at the Shelley Centre, and it was 4:30 in the afternoon. The staff still were sweeping out, and it's not just that centre. We had restaurants, hotels. Everybody got stuck in, and as soon as the water subsided, business was back to normal. Shelley Centre was back to normal and thriving again yesterday afternoon. It's 2 days before Christmas Eve.
Sure. I do wonder how this, in some ways, is going to inform how tourism happens. Dare I say, when I was younger, which is probably not that long ago, we were always told that South Africa is a bit of a water-scarce country, and you kind of anticipated the holiday season to be relatively drier than what we've seen over the past couple of weeks. That is beginning to change, and I do wonder to what extent that even might inform the kind of offerings that might be available for KZN and South Coast beachgoers, given the fact that, we're seeing a whole lot more rainy conditions in December for the past couple of years.
Yes, I guess so. Perhaps it's nature. It's nothing that, it's also the climate change that affects. But our floods that we've had in the last 4 years, they haven't always been in December. We've had April flooding, we've had June flooding. And when I say flooding, it really is just such a heavy downfall in a very, very short space of time. It's just not possible not to have that amount of water, flowing down. For us, we really, as I said earlier, our resilience is so strong and we are so equipped and so ready for any disaster. And, I really do. Federated applauds our local municipality and our crisis and disaster management and our Ugu Water department in being hands-on. In fact, yesterday, our Premier of KZN also came down in the morning to assess, where we were. And we really just are incredibly blessed to be able to have this type of support. And your question about rainfalls, I guess that's a God-given climate.
Right.
It's not something that the South Coast can do, but the message that Federated really wants to give is that, please, there's a lot of misinformed information, and honestly, we are up, we are ready, we are welcoming holiday. We've spent a long time getting our infrastructure, well and welcoming to our holidaymakers, and we are excited to have them here on the coast. And also remember that our local residents that spend their year working hard, it is also a short space of time that they themselves have time to relax as well. So for them, our beaches are always, it's fabulous that our beaches are open for them now at this time as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting support, especially from the municipality. We're hoping to speak to the mayor of a different part of town later on. But
Sure.
the question I wanted to ask you is the sense that you're getting around whether those infrastructure issues are finally being addressed that led to the closure of some of those beaches along the South Coast.
Yes, they are. Our infrastructure is definitely being addressed. And, particularly we are looking at the footage from Shelly Beach to Margate. Our tidy town team from Shelly Beach to Margate, they work hand in hand with the municipality. And honestly, I would go so far as to say is that we are perhaps one of the strongest teams on the KZN coast when we are talking about our community working together with our municipality. Our municipality has really stepped up. They've come to the party, and we're proud to be part of this community and to be living here, to get the support that we do when disasters do happen.
Like I mentioned earlier, I think most people want KZN to do well, so it's great to hear that you're receiving the support that you need, and hopefully we'll all get a bit more used to the kind of conditions that we've seen over the past couple of years and are better prepared to respond to it. Mandy Massey, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Appreciate the time on the SABC News channel. Mandy is the KZN Deputy Chair for FEDHASA, that's the Federated Hospitality of Southern Africa. Once again, we appreciate the time.